Welcome back. Although national job numbers out Friday are encouraging at the national level, hiring here in the nation's capital continues to slow. There are plenty of potential employees out there looking for a great job. So if you're one of the employers doing the hiring, you want to do it right. Joining me now for our Small Business Spotlight is Mary Habegé, head of Careerstone Group, to talk about 10 points to follow to make sure you hire the best and the brightest. And Mary, I love this topic that you chose for today. It's about how to get the most out of an interview, but from the side of the person doing the interview. We hear so much about how to prep for a job interview. This is a great list because a lot of people don't do this that are interviewing.
They don't, and you know, hiring the wrong person is really expensive because then you have to start the whole process over, and something like 40% of hires fail anyway. And if you're a small business, you don't have that kind of money or margin to be making these mistakes.
I've got to admit, there have been times that people I've known have been hired, they never called me for references, and I always think, what kind of preparation did they do? And you say the most important preparation for an interview is literally do your homework before you start interrogating the person in front of you.
Do your homework, and that means a couple things. One, be really clear on what skills you're looking for this job. Where are the skills? Where are the talents? Where are the abilities? What's the attitude? What's the experience? Make a list. Secondly, read the resume. So many people, and I am guilty of this, will glance at the resume 5 minutes before the interview. No, 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 no.
Oh, see, maybe it's the reporter in me, but I would have read their resume. I would have Googled them. I would have searched for everything about them. I'm always amazed when I'm like, really? You could have done a Google search and found that out. And
my manager won't let me do the first round interviews because I'm the classic, like, oh, just breeze through it. Like, you've got to prepare.
But then I think you and I both rely on this second one. I think it is important. You say, establish rapport in this interview.
Unless the job is one where they've got to be like intimidated to, you know, survive, like a high pressure job, don't turn it into interrogation. Like, turn it into a conversation and set some rapport, make them as comfortable as possible, and make sure you explain to them the process and what's going to happen and where they are in it. Give some information, people. Don't leave your interviewee hanging out in the cold.
And the third one, you say, be open-minded, mind your biases. And this came to mind when I was Judy Woodruff's producer. I love Judy, and she would have me interview the first round of people to replace myself. And Judy had deliberately always hired women because she felt like women had been held back in the newsroom. So she had a bias towards women as kind of an equal opportunity. She ended up hiring a guy, and she really had to overcome her mindset.
Right. Yeah, you know, we tend to hire people who are like us because we like ourselves, right? So you've got to be careful you're not just hiring yourself. But the other thing is studies have shown that interviewers make up their mind in the first 2 minutes of the interview. So try not to do that. Like, try to stay open-minded.
Very good. Now, this next one, consistency matters. What do you mean? Ask the same question of all?
So, I mean, you've got to compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. And yes, you're going to have some questions you might ask one candidate over another, but you want to make sure you're asking basically the same questions to each candidate so that when you compare at the end, you are comparing the same thing.
Another one that I think is really good advice, use behavioral-based questions. So does that mean instead of saying, what did you do in your last job, that instead you say, how did you bring about change in your last job?
Yeah, so it looks like this. So I could say to you, so Rebecca, if you had an angry customer, how would you deal with it? Well, you're going to give me the answer you researched. Here's what I do, step 1B. But instead if I said to you, Rebecca, tell me about a time you handled an angry customer, how did you resolve it, and what was the result? You want to really make people speak from their experience. Unlike the stock market, past performance is indicative of future performance. Really find out what they have done.
My brother in high school never got the job at Pier 1 because the question said, is there ever a situation you can imagine that would make you so angry you would want to punch a customer? And he answered honestly, which the honest answer is yes, but ding, 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 wrong answer for Pier 1. 6, take notes. Wouldn't everyone do that anyway?
No. Some people like write words. Again, I'm guilty of myself. Write words or like little smiley faces. You've got to take notes because you are going to forget. If you interview, say, 5 or 6 people, if you don't take notes, I promise you're going to forget the first or second person.
I lost my thyroid. I take pictures of where I parked my car. So yes, I would take careful notes, and they really do help. There are things you think are going to make an impression that you do need those reminders later.
And if you've done your list of competencies, you can make a little matrix chart. Like, here are the things I'm looking for, and make notes of whether you found
that's
them.
too organized for me. Running out of time, 90 seconds. You say, use follow-up questions.
Absolutely.
And don't forget to sell.
Don't forget to sell. It's a two-way street. Like, you're not just seeing if you want them. You've got to also make the job appealing to your candidate. Candidates have more than one opportunity these days.
I love number 9. Check with your reception staff. What are you going to check? Did they wash their hands after going to the bathroom?
How they treated people. People are going to be on their best behavior with you. How are they? A lot of organizations do that. How are they with everybody else?
I love that. Excellent. Okay, and number 10. Follow up ASAP. Now, the training has always been that it's incumbent on the person being interviewed to follow up ASAP. Why is it incumbent on me, the employer, to follow up ASAP?
Because you are a brand, and people talk, and you want to have your interviewing process one that's full of dignity and respect to the candidates. You may find them another time where they may talk about you. Always follow with your candidates, good or bad. Do not leave them in the dark. It's just bad performance and bad etiquette.
Mary Abbajay, I always love the advice you give us. Thanks so much for joining us on this week's Small Business Spotlight. Well, stay with us. Our roundtable's next. President Obama seems pretty pumped about economic gains, but not everyone's convinced. We'll dissect the latest job numbers, and we'll talk about other things going on here in the city of Washington. Stay with us.